and welcome to this video. And this is all about my transition from the Nikon D810 over to the D850. So it's not a full review of the D850. There is literally thousands of reviews out there on the internet and on YouTube. So this is not a full review. This is very much the reasons why I went from the D810 to the D850 and my first impressions of the D850 itself. So before we start on the reasons, I thought I'd just explain a bit about my history in photography. So I'm obviously quite old, and so I can remember film, and film very much obviously was my introduction to photography. So I think I had a Minolta film camera, I had a Canon, I think it was a T90 maybe, and various other film cameras. I even had a Mamiya 645 medium format camera, which was exceptional, delivering some really good resolution, some good lenses. I don't know why I parted with that, I can't remember. So very much into film, and I was very much into slide photography, and I really used to like using the Kodak 64 slide film, and I used to get really excited when I used to see the postman coming down the path clutching one of these and landing on the mat and opening them up, popping them in the slide projector, and yeah, that was fun, that was. And one day I'll get all these digitized and have a look at what my photography was like back then. I also had a home darkroom, so I used to process black and white film, and I processed colour film as well. And I did my own printing, 7x5s and A4s as well. And that was a fascinating experience to develop your own pictures, develop the film, and burn and dodge the images as they came out. Colour processing though, the chemicals were quite strong, and you seem to sleep afterwards after being exposed to them. Anyway, eventually I went digital, and I had a Kodak. I can't remember, I'll put it on the screen if I can find a photo of it. It was an old Kodak. I know it had, I think it had 1 megapixel of memory, and that was my starting point on my journey with digital photography. Then it got a bit serious, so I bought a digital DSLR, and the first one was the good old Nikon D850. Great camera. How did we survive? Just look at the size of the screen on that. How did we see the pictures on the back of that? Crazy. I then moved from the D870 to the D880, which gave me a bit more resolution and a few more features on there, and obviously a bigger screen. I bet you think I'm going to say D90 next. I missed the D90 out, and then I took a real jump over to full frame. So I went to the D700, which was an amazing image machine, and really intensified my thoughts on digital photography. From that, I went to the D810. Now, this was a bit of a fail, because I went out with the D810 straight away and tried to use it. Made lots of mistakes, took some awful pictures technically, and it was a big jump in resolution, 36 megapixels, and it really exposed how poor my technique was at taking images. And it really made me redefine my technique to get the best out of this camera. And but it's an excellent camera. 36 megapixels for me was more than what I needed. However, I've obviously now transitioned to the Nikon D850, and this leads us to a question that Helen asked. She asked quite a few actually when I bought this. Is it going to make you a better photographer? And I said to her no, and she said, what you spent all that money for? I said, all these cameras are tools. They're all capable of taking good images, but the onus is on the user to harness the features in these cameras to produce that image. So by buying the D850, it won't make me a better photographer, only I can make myself a better photographer. And I spent some time explaining this to her, and she did get it. And I did explain some of the things I'm going to explain to you as to the reasons why I bought it. I think mirrorless is in its infancy. I pretty much like the feel of a DSLR. I'm old school. I just love that feel. It's a brick, but it feels quality. It's solid. You know, it could probably fall down a mountain and survive. Let's not say that. I like the feel of it. I like the action. I like the way it operates. At the moment, mirrorless is not for me, and maybe not in the future, because this could last donkey's years. So the other thing with mirrorless as well, I would want the Z9. I would want the three main lenses, the 14 to 24, the 24 to 70, and the 70 to 200. So I want to change everything over, and that would work out at around about £11,000. And I can't justify that, but I can justify a new D850 just. So what were the main reasons for buying this camera? Flippy screen was probably the #1 reason. I'm a bit of a short arse, so when it comes to setting the tripod high up, because sometimes you need to get your tripod, your view higher to look down on a scene, it wasn't possible with the D810. You had to guess your composition, guess the focus points. So I never tried to do an image from that height. With the flippy screen, this will allow me to do that. It will allow me to see the composition, see the focus point, and take the shot. And this is the same for images low down. There's been many occasions where I wanted to take a picture from a very low viewpoint, and I've not been able to do it. I don't like laying on the ground, because when you get up you look like a tramp. So again, using this flippy screen will solve that problem. So no, it won't instantly make me a better photographer, but it will allow me to hopefully take better images. Okay, as we've seen at the beginning, 4K video. So the D810 did 1080p. This can do 4K, and the video looks very, very sweet. We know there's a focusing kind of issue with this. It's not great at focusing automatically, but for what I want to use it for, to take video of the landscape around us, it will do the job I want it to do. Batteries. The batteries in this are backward compatible with the D810. I had 3 batteries for the D810 along with this battery, I've now got 4 batteries to power this beast. Focus stacking. I tend to be doing more focus stacking in the images I'm taking. This has got a focus stack feature, however, I'm not getting my head around it at the minute. It seems quite difficult. It seems there needs to be a lot of experimentation to get it right. Out in the woodland, I thought I'd set it up to do a focus stack, but I'd not followed the process. The process is to set your focus point first, then go into the menu and sort out all the parameters and press the start button. It wouldn't let me press the start button because I'd not set the focus point. Schoolboy error. So I need more practice with the focus stacking. I did do a manual focus stacking in the woodland and I even got this wrong. You can do silent photography with this and it's amazing. It's a bit unnerving at first because when you switch it on and start to use it, you kind of think, has it took the picture? Has it done it? That's the scary part. Once you set the camera to show you the image preview on the back of the screen, then you have that confidence that silent photography is good. Now I didn't think going from 36 megapixels to 45.7 would make a big difference, but it does make quite a significant difference. The resolution is insane. Do we really need this much? Yes, we do. Dynamic range was another reason for choosing this camera. It's exceptional what you can do when processing images that the Nikon D850 has taken. Let's look at this image here. Now, this is probably an image that I took when I first started to learn photography. Very dark image, and you'd look at this out of the camera and you'd hit the delete button because it's absolutely too dark, no detail in it whatsoever. And this is a raw file from the Nikon D850. Now I went out to do a sunset shoot, which you're going to see in the future, and I deliberately underexposed the scene because we'd got very harsh light, we'd got the sun setting in the sky, and we'd got some quite dark foreground. So I deliberately underexposed, and I think this shot is about 4 stops underexposed because I wanted to test the dynamic range in this camera. I showed this picture to Helen and it was like, you've not learned how to use that camera yet, have you? Well, I have. I'm testing it, I'm learning. So this is a great example of the capabilities that this camera's got for dynamic range. So if I show you the processed image, you'll see it's very, very different. And I'll just show you a short clip of the processing steps that I went through with this image. If you want to pause it and have a look at some of the steps, that's probably quicker than me talking, spending 15 minutes talking through all the steps that I did, all the processing steps that I did with this image. So here's that clip. But yeah, dynamic range is awesome. lots of processing steps there in the editing of that image, and I was doing a lot of experimentation, and my initial thoughts are that I am going to have to process these images slightly different to the Nikon D810. Now, one of my final steps in processing is to take away any dust spots, which mainly occur in the sky. With this being a new camera, there's only a couple of minute dust spots up in the sky, but worryingly, I noticed this. Now, it's got a very typical UFO shape to it. However, on this particular evening, there was an awful lot of flies and bugs flying around me, biting me, actually. And so the question is this a UFO? Is it a UFB? Very strange. I've only got really two niggles at the minute. One is the price of the memory cards. They're quite extortionate, and you can look them up. I won't mention them in case Helen's listening. I think she's gone out. But yeah, they're quite extortionate. The other niggle I've got is with the flippy screen. Okay. Yes, I know it doesn't flip round. I'm not too worried about that. But when you go into the menu, if you've got the screen flipped out, your thumb, I use my thumb on the selector here, the thumb on the selector seems to collide with the flippy screen, and I find that a little bit annoying actually. Why didn't they move this button further to the right so your thumb don't collide? And the only way around it is to push the flippy screen back in, but then you've got to pull it back out again, and if you're doing a shoot, you don't really want to do that. So that's my only annoyance. Otherwise, so far, this camera is amazing, but I knew it was going to be amazing, and I'm about ready now to go out on a proper shoot with it. So I don't know where I'm going yet, but and hopefully I'm going to share with you some of the great images that this is going to take. Only if I am capable of operating this camera are you going to see some great images. Well, we've got these like rust looking trees, really nice. Obviously if we had some better light this scene would be better. It's the obligatory woodland path, but we have got these two tree trunks on the right hand side, and then in the distance we've got some more trees kind of on the left, so I'm probably going to take this at 70mm. 24 to 70 lens. Okay, we'll end the video there. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, consider subscribing to the channel, giving the video a like, sharing the video, or popping a comment in the bottom. We'll have a preview of the next video now, where we actually go out for a proper shoot with the Nikon D850. So see how we got on, and here's that preview, and I'll see you later. Oh, how rude! So, good job you can't see hand signals. Okay. Does that mean you're ready? Put the camera away. It is weatherproof.